always say this, the most driven individuals, they live a life for many years and certain times without balance. Everybody strives for balance, balance, balance. And in order to be that obsessed with something over and over again. So if you say something that was missing, but it was actually a gift, was his lack of balance. You know, there were times, now, you can't be the best at something and try to balance everything else around your life. There is going to be times where things are going to be out of balance. It just is. So many individuals talk about that you need more balance, you need more balance, you need more balance. You don't find balance, you create it. And it's different for every individual out there. What the balance I've created may be completely different than the balance you've created. And there's certain times in your life that the scales are definitely going to be weighing towards one side more than the other. In early part of Kobe's career, it was about basketball and winning, And towards the end of his career, and he played for 20 years, it became less about winning. It was still about basketball, and it became more focused, became more on spending time with the family. But you have to surround yourself with people, and this is very important to the listeners. You have to surround yourself with people when your life is unbalanced, with individuals that would be selfish for you. They understand your obsession. They understand your drive. They understand your attention to detail. I guarantee I don't know your whole team, but I guarantee almost everyone on your team at some point, every single day, they become selfish for another individual so that individual can perform and do their task at the highest level.
The biggest things that put you in the fucked up place you are today are in there. That's why we all like to keep them shut, even like to lock them up, act like they never happened. That's why you never grow. You never improve. You never have real conversations like we're having right now. Never, never. Oh, no, let's not go there. I talk to so many people who tell me that. Let's talk about this. Because they'll tell me, but they can only say it once. And they'll say it in passing. They won't get deep in the weeds with it. Like, you can't just clean it. Motherfucker, you gotta spit shine that motherfucker. You gotta relive it. Every fucking detail of it. You can't just be like, oh yeah, my dad beat me. And it is what it is. Hey, it is what it is, motherfucker. It's killing you. It's taking over your whole fucking life. But that's the conversation. Yeah, my dad beat me. I'm fine now, though. I'm good. Okay. All right. No, you ain't. You ain't fine. You ain't fine. This is real talk. People don't have that. So your boy's right. 100% right. Scary as shit. It's scary as shit. But it makes you who you're supposed to be. And that's the test. We forget. We think we're supposed to breathe air and have kids and pay the bills and shit. And we're like, what's this life about? That makes no sense. We're being tested, my friend. Tests come when you have not studied. Tests come when you think that you're in a great place. That's the test. The test is every day of your life. And most of us fail because we don't know why we're here, because we don't go inward to say, oh, you gave me a lot of shit to fix, man. And this test sucks. But then you start.
But the successful people are those who work all the time they work. So if you're going to work 8 or 9 hours a day, and let's say you have a family, so you can't work more than that, then be sure that when you do work, you put more of yourself into the work. Because there's nothing that makes you feel more powerful than to know that you're on top of your work and you're making progress and you're getting things done. One of the reasons why so many people are out of balance today is because they waste so blasted much time at work and then they have to take the work home. Remember the story of the fellow kept bringing a briefcase full of work home, and his daughter was asking his wife, "Mommy, how come Daddy always brings a briefcase full of work home and works at night instead of spending time with the family?" And she says, "Well, honey, he doesn't get his work done at the office, so he has to bring it home and work on it." She said, "Well, why don't they put him in a slower class?" When you waste your time at work, what you're saying is, I should be put in a slower class, and sooner or later, you'll be put in a slower class. That always happens. It's called unemployment, downsizing, and things like that.
People can't weather. Like, there's so much opportunity on the other side of being willing to persist for an extended period of time on the correct path without getting positive reinforcement from your environment. And the longer you can stick with something without that positive feedback loop in terms of the big external thing, the easier the opportunities are, because so few people can pursue them.
In James Clear's Atomic Habits, I think he interviews maybe the Chinese weightlifting team's head coach, and he asked, what is the difference between the absolute elite world champions and the ones that simply qualify? And the coach said, the absolute elite are the ones who can continue to come in every single day without getting bored. That was it. And Matt Fraser talks about it as well, where he says that doing an hour and a half of monostructural work on the rower, you've got to do zone 2. Hey, guess what? You don't even get the benefit of feeling like you worked that hard.
Yeah.
You just get to kind of, whatever, like 24 strokes a minute or something, like slow zone 2, whatever the thing is. But no one's fired up for that. He said people make a mistake in believing that I'm fired up to go and do that session. I'm not fired up to go and do that session. I just go and do that session.
We was saying, so there's a lot of people say, like, do the work. And in Gym Launch, and it's continued into our stuff today, but do the boring work is what we call it. And boring is what makes you rich. The boring activities, it's the double checking the emails. It's writing the follow-up sequence that you really don't feel like writing. And honestly, just getting it done will make you significantly more money than not getting it done. And so it's like, it's following with a lead from a month ago and just being like, hey, by the way, are you still interested in that thing? It's the stuff that you don't want to do. Like, no one's like, I can't wait to follow up with these leads that haven't responded to the last 2 text messages I sent. But if you follow up to everybody, you will make more sales than if you don't.
Presuming that it's an effective strategy, because there are ways that you can continue to chug away and do a thing with no positive reinforcement. But hey, guess what? That's the direction that you're supposed to be going in, and you're walking over there.
Yeah. That's a push and pivot, right? Like if no one responds, then I would say I have 0 leading indicators. But if you have enough response rates, then it's worth the toil. But I mean, Michael Phelps talks about this too with swimming.
It makes someone uncomfortable when you've never been uncomfortable yourself. So a lot of people in this room aren't pushing themselves to that uncomfortable place. And that is the first thing you have to know what uncomfortable feels like. So when you're pushing someone to that place, you know how to talk them through it. Because if you haven't experienced it and you haven't gotten the knowledge from it, it is impossible to push someone there, because the second they get uncomfortable, you are now uncomfortable. You are now in your feelings. You are now feeling bad for this person. You now feel that they're uncomfortable because you don't know how to walk them through the uncomfort. And that is the most important thing that you have to learn, is there is theorists and there's practitioners. A lot of theorists will tell you how uncomfortable feels. The practitioners are the ones that have experienced uncomfortable, and they know exactly the steps on how to get through being uncomfortable. So then you now have the science about it. So while you're talking to this individual and they're feeling uncomfortable, you know exactly how to break them down and find a way in to their heart so they come out with the insurance that they need in the long run.
It's amazing. One of the other things we struggle a lot with is, and it might be the same with people that work out, competing, is, and I was talking to a guy earlier this morning, I said, what's your biggest issue? He said, I found a way to make money, and then he said to me, but I self-sabotage, which I think is bullshit. In my opinion, I think that's just a made-up, like, it's an awesome way to let people off the hook. Oh, you just didn't do, no, dude, you didn't do the work. You didn't wake up and go, I'm gonna destroy it. I'm now, all of a sudden, I'm not accountable. But the struggle has been for a lot of folks is, I didn't want to be on the hamster wheel for the next 60 years. When I got my life insurance license, what scared me the most was I was going to people's houses that were 75 years old, and they like were broke as all shit. And I'm like, I don't ever want to like outlive any money and be able to not support myself. The complacency that sets in, because I was raised, if we had, and again, you got to figure out what your motivator is. Mine was never money, it was this. I don't know that I saw this or didn't see this, but I'm like, if these idiots, because I met them, if they can run a company, and I've met them, shit, I can do it too. But a lot of folks get here and money's their barometer. I have enough to live, so I'm good. Maybe the gentleman that you coach, maybe someone, I have enough to live, so I'm good. What's your advice on people actually realizing there's a hell of a lot more, and they'll do it. They'll come in here and they'll work 60 hours a week, and then 40 hours a week, and then I got money. Then they go on vacation for 3 weeks, and then they want to know what the problem is. And in our business, it's an advanced business, so the money can charge back. How do you help us understand to keep freaking going, especially when it feels good? Like it's getting good. How do we make it great or not go backwards?
So a lot of you will not agree with this, which is fine. So don't take this literally, because don't ever cap this, but I cap my success. I'm not saying cap your money. I'm not saying any of that. I say this is just my term. So every single year, I've made millions of dollars. Very well off. I don't need to work ever again. But every year I go to British Columbia and I jump out of airplanes, and I'm a smoke jumper. And I lose about $5 million a year to smoke jump for 4 to 5 months a year. Everybody goes, why the hell do you do that? Because on my journey, trying to get to where I'm in today, I found out that all the knowledge for me came at the bottom. And how I stay hungry is I literally go back to the bottom. I go back, I pick up a shovel, I pick up a Pulaski, someone's in charge of me, some 20-some-year-old kid. I'm damn near 50 fucking years old. I got some 20-year-old kid still digging in his nose and digging his ass in charge of me. But it humbles me, because I want to be the best. And a lot of people in here, they might just be okay with just that money to live. And that's, well, it's that time of year again. We start to feel real happy. Why? Because we're not going to work. If you believe in Santa Claus and you celebrate Christmas, you're looking forward to Santa Claus coming down the chimney giving you some presents. It's a real good time of year. So in that good time of year, we start to feel real good about ourselves. So I start to feel great. So we start making promises to ourselves about, hey, I'm gonna lose some weight. I'm gonna do better in school. I'm gonna be better here, be better there. But guess what happens? The real Merry fucking Christmas happens when all of that noise is gone, it's quiet, and it's you against you, and now all those endorphins are gone. And that promise you made about getting up early and getting after it to go lose weight, study harder, guess what? It's a lot fucking harder now. That repetition becomes a lot harder now. So a lot of us can't do things on our own. So find somebody in your life, so when you throw that towel in, they throw that motherfucker back at you and say you're not fucking done yet. Stay true to yourself, stay hard.
The answer is pretty simple. It comes from the idea that you don't really know what you think that you know. If you drop your certainty that you understand what's going on with politics, what's going on with the climate, what's going on with this, that, or other issue, you have no curiosity because you already know the answer. And if you have no curiosity, why read a book that's going to show me a different point of view that covers the whole context of history, that will give me a better understanding of why the world is the way it is? You have to have curiosity, but your curiosity can only come from a sense of, I don't know what's going on in the world right now. I really don't know. It's mysterious. I don't understand why people are acting the way they are right now. I don't understand why our politics have turned this way. I've read this article on the internet that got me all angry, but you drop that kind of stupidity and you go, that article was one-sided. You know, when I read a lot of history, which I do, you start to see a context of things. Things start to open up, for instance. So there's been a lot of things written lately about the problem that boys are having in this world and young men. Something I'm very empathetic to, and I can understand it, and I think we have to come to terms with that. But when you read a lot of history, you know the context that these things have happened before, but you also understand the context of why this is happening, and you just don't react emotionally. You understand that the country has become deindustrialized, so the white-collar, blue-collar jobs that men used to have making, building things have disappeared from America and from a large part of the world. Things have become, factories have become automated, and those jobs have disappeared. So that had a huge blow on male employment and a male sense of who they are. And then women were starting to rise up in the culture, in the society, making money, earning their own way. And this kind of deflated the male ego, the sense of, I'm the breadwinner. Now, the context is if you thought a little about it and you had a little bit of empathy and you weren't so narrow-minded, you understand that for thousands of years, women were deeply, deeply oppressed. They had no power. Their only power was in the home. Their only power was domestic, was raising children. And they weren't necessarily aware of that at the time, but it was obviously an oppressive force in the background, and unconsciously, it probably had a very depressive effect on their spirit. And so when they were finally opening up, when they were given the right to vote, when they were given the right to have education, they were able to attend universities, their world opened up, and it was a beautiful thing, and it's something that we should celebrate. So this idea as if women are taking something away from us because so much attention is on them, well, in some ways they are, but in the other way, they were deprived for thousands of years of being a human being, okay? They were not even thought of as a rational human being. They were just products of nature. They weren't even considered to have a soul. When you read history, you get a context, and you understand that maybe it's not so black and white. Maybe it's not so much men versus women, boys versus...
Well, everybody, it's Groundhog's Day again for David Goggins. If you pan it down here, you see it's about 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's not a car or a person in sight. If you pan over here, it's the same thing. Not a car or a person in sight. People want to know where I find my strength at, where I get my strength. I get it from a lot of places, but right now, this morning, I'm getting it from, there's not a motherfucker that's up. There's not a car, there's not a person. Everybody's in their bed, sleep, dreading that it's a Monday, hate it's a Monday. And I'm loving it. I'm loving that. Where everybody's getting weaker, I'm getting stronger. It's not about the running, the swimming, the push-ups, the sit-ups. It's about what those things do for your mentality. You don't get better on the daggone couch. You get better by coming out here and getting the fuck after it every daggone day. Stay hard.